Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langaya devirim krupatamakam mande Shri Guru Dinakarinam Paramana. Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram Hari Om. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 33, verse number 27. Nityaruda Samadhivat. Let me share that. Nityaruda Samadhivat Pravritta Guna Brahma Nasasmara Tadatmanam Swapne Drishnam Nivotidaham Nityaruda Samadhivat Paravritta Guna Brahma Nasasmara Tadatmanam Swapne Drishnam Nivotidaham Nityaruda Samadhivat Paravritta Guna Brahma Nasasmara Tadatmanam Swapne Drishnam Idotivaha. Synonyms: Nitya, eternal; Aruda, situated in; Samadhivat, from trance; Paravritta, free from; Guna, of three modes of material nature; Brahma, illusion; Na Sasmara, she did not remember; Na Sasmara, she did not remember; Tada, then; Atmanam, her material body; Swapne, in a dream; Drishtam, seen; Iva, just as; Uttidaha, one who has risen. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Situated in eternal trance and freed from illusion impelled by the modes of material nature, she forgot her material body, just as one forgets his different bodies in a dream. Purport: a great Vaishnava said that he who has no remembrance of his body is not bound a material existence. As long as we are conscious of our bodily existence, it is to be understood that we are living conditionally under the three modes of material nature. When one forgets his bodily existence, his conditional material life is over. This forgetfulness is actually possible when we engage our senses in the transcendental loving service of the Lord in the conditional state. One engages his senses as a member of the family or as a member of the society or a country. But when one forgets all such memberships in material circumstances and realizes that he is an eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have a class at Tuntikane. Okay, I have a class at eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. That is actual forgetfulness of material existence. This forgetfulness actually occurs when one renders service unto the Lord. A devotee no longer works with body for sense gratification, with family, society, country, humanity, and so on. He simply works for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, that is perfect Krishna consciousness. A devotee always merges in transcendental happiness and therefore he has no experience of material distress. This transcendental happiness is called eternal bliss. According to the opinion of devotees, constant remembrance of the Supreme Lord is called samadhi or trance. If one constantly in trance, there is no possibility of his being attacked or even touched by the modes of material nature. As soon as one is freed from contamination of the three modes of material modes, he no longer has to take birth in the transmigrate from one form to another in this material world. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Chalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamakyam Tadadi Swapadandigam Vandegam Shri Gurun Shri Yuta Patagamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sagagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadudam Parijana Sagidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagagana Lilita Shri Vishakan Vidamta He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopiga Kanda Radha Kanta Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhana Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpada Rupyascha Kripa Sindhu Be Evacha Patithanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The translation is like this: situated in eternal trance and freed from illusions impelled by the modes of material nature, she forgot her material body, just as one forgets his different bodies in a dream. So this shows how Mother Devahuti, though she possessed one material body, she gradually lifted, or with the association of wonderful devotees. Her grandfather is Lord Brahma, and her father is the father of mankind, Swayambhu Manu, and the husband is Kardama Muni, one of the greatest sadhu, and the son is none other than the Supreme Personality of God. Such a fortunate lady. And this mother, Devahuti, we need not to say that she will definitely have a spiritual body. But the Lord's arrangement, she had a material body. But once someone is in the complete trance into the material body, then one forgets about the material body. Then that is the ultimate perfection of life. And then she becomes non-different from the soul. So a great Vaishnava said that he who has no remembrance of his body is not bound by the material existence. So as long as we are conscious of our bodily existence, it is to be understood that we are living conditionally under the modes of
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Prabhuji, I am not.
Hare Krishna.
Now I can hear you. In between, voice was not there.
Mataji, your question, others could other devotees can hear, because
yes, we were able to hear. We were able to hear.
It must be some problem there, because when you ask question also, that also came in broken.
I can hear in Bahrain.
Okay, Prabhu.
Ajit can hear in, I think, Faridabad. So, Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Now, okay, Mataji. So, as long as we are here, the soul cannot be ideal. We have to do some actions, and all our actions depends on which modes of nature, whether three, and definitely these three will not act independently. Always mixture of three modes determines our action, and every single moment, one of these three moments will be predominantly high, and the other two will be in proportionately less. So these three modes of material nature, when it mixed, it brings millions of ranges of actions. So because we know the permutations and combinations, it happens like this. So this is the if we are in that modes of material nature, that means still we are in bodily concept. When one forgets this bodily influence, his conditional material life is over. This is what is the highest perfectional stage of Bhakti Yoga. Srila Prabhupada, when he came to Vrindavan first time after going in Jalatut in 1971, he came with Western devotees. These Western devotees were very eager to hear about when they were in Vrindavan, they were very eager to hear about the Lord's the childhood pastimes. But on and Janmashtami day also, when Prabhupada was giving class, he was telling that you are not this body. So after the class, the devotees were question Prabhupada, you were from the day one of our induction into the Krishna consciousness, you were saying that you are not this body, you are a spirit soul like this. But we are in Vrindavan and we are on a Janmashtami day. We were thinking that we will be able to hear so much about the pastimes of the Lord. Rather, we were sticking into the basics, which is you are not this body, you are spirit soul, and your action should be like that. So, kind of a disappointment, the devotees said, and the Prabhupada said, have you come out of your bodily concepts? And then nobody answered. I know, as long as you are not in the come out of the bodily concepts, you have to hear this until the last day of your life. So this is the answer to all of us, that we have to come out of the bodily concepts. Here our mother Devaguti, she is in a transcend and she is not in three modes of material nature. That means she is already in the full forgetfulness of her material body. That means she attained spiritual nature, though in this body. In the conditional state, one engages his senses as a member of the family, as a member of the society or a country. So these false identifications are because we are identifying ourselves with our body. In our actions, whatever we do, if we understand that we are connecting something with the relationship of our body, then the body, society, land, country, so much, all these designations are indicating that still we are in the material body. But when one forgets all such memberships in material circumstances and realizes that he is an eternal servant of the Supreme Lord, that is actual forgetfulness of material existence. This is perfect. So one has to identify and see every happenings around or all our actions. Is this is the highest perfection, but the gap between this highest perfection and the position where we are now is the time which we may need to attain the Supreme. So all our endeavor should be to minimize the gap, and one fine day we should have hope that we will be completely out of this material conception and we will be in the fully absorption of the spiritual conception. In that stage, the three modes of material nature will not act upon us. This is what the purport says. The forgetfulness actually occurs when one renders service unto the Lord. So we cannot be idle. Sarvabhadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktir uttamam. Top class bhaktir uttamam is with the senses. We cannot keep our senses idle. We have to feed the eye will see, tongue will taste, nose will smell, ear will hear. So what to hear, what to smell, what to eat, what to see is in our hand and our decision. So if we try and please Krishna by all our actions, all our deeds, and all our remembrance, and then we are progressing. That is a symptom of our progressing. Here, when we come to that stage, then that is called Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means our consciousness should be filled with Krishna. Once Radhanath Maharaj said, this really struck me. So I in every class, like invariably, I am saying this one. Radhanath Maharaj said, understanding Krishna means standing under Krishna. So we have to be under the shelter of Krishna. That's what Radhanath Maharaj said. A devotee always merges in transcendental happiness, and therefore he has no experience of material distresses. So distress is coming because of our wrong identification, wrong understanding of our relationship with the material existence. Once we start knowing that I have nothing to do with this material and understanding, the so-called material distress will not act as a material distress. There are innumerable examples we can give from the present day devotees, highly elevated Uttam Adhigaris, to the Vedic days. Throughout in our history, we can see so many perfected sadhus, how they performed their devotional service with the Supreme, completely detaching from the material existence. The transcendental happiness is called eternal bliss. The transcendental happiness. So all other are compromised happiness. The happiness, the shanti, like a peace, these are all very compromised because our constitutional position is not like that. Because constitutional position is identified with three terms called Sachidananda. We are Sat, Chit and Anand. Sat means we are eternal, Sanatan. There was no day this Atma was not there, mine, myself, plus, and there will not be a day that this soul will not be there. So eternally we are there. From the beginning we are there. Today we are there, and we will be there forever. This time and space scale cannot control us. Us means the spirit soul. And what is the nature of this spirit soul? It is fully knowledgeable, fully cognizant about the material nature, the Jivatma, the self-identity, and the supreme soul, that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what is the relationship between the Jiva and the material world, and how I have to be, though when I am being in this material world, how I can be detached from this one, and this way how I can get connected with it. These are all the knowledge. Anything other than this knowledge is not knowledge. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says very, very. And the last term is bliss, Ananda. Such Chit, Ananda. Chit means that we said the cognizant factor, and the last one is Ananda. Ananda is not a compromised happiness. It is a ultimate. That's why Prabhupada is saying the transcendental happiness is called eternal bliss. Eternal bliss means what? This is never cessational. This completely, this is there. From the beginning, it will be there, and it will be there forever. According to the opinion of devotees, the constant remembrance of the Supreme Lord is called Samadhi or trance. So one has to think about that. Always think about Krishna. Never forget about Smartabhya Sadadam Vishnu Vismartabhya Na Jaduchit Sarva Vidhi Nishedeshyor Etayor Kinkara. In Padma Purana, it says for the devotees, the instruction is Smartavya Sadadam Vishnu. We have to remember always Krishna. This is the first rule. What is the second rule? It is told in a different way. Smartavya Sadadam Vishnu, Vismartavya Na Jaduchit. Even for a fraction of a second, you never forget Krishna. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. This is the first rule on two. And then what the next two lines saying? Sarva Vidhi Nishedeshyor Etayor Eva Kinkara. Kinkara means servant. If we follow this rule 1 and 2, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna, and then the next everything comes as a servant to the first and rule, second and rule. What does it mean? I didn't take bath today. Can I chant? Somebody is sick, or somebody taken birth, or somebody dead in my family. Can I chant the holy name? So so many dharmas will be there around. They are subservient to this one. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam saranam braja akam tuvam sarva papayobhye mokshaishyami ma suchaka. That last word is very important. Ma suchaka. Who is not having distress? Krishna is giving guarantee. Ma suchaka. Don't be fear. Don't be with any anxiety. I will be there to protect you because you already a surrendered soul to me. So this is the factor. So samadhi, in that stage, if we know that our constitutional position is Satchit Ananda, and then we have to indulge ourselves into attaining that samadhi stage. What is the samadhi stage? What is the highest level of achievement in Krishna consciousness? Getting Krishna prema. How we can get Krishna prema? Even going back, some devotees may say that going back home, back to Godhead. Going back to home, Godhead is also a concomitant factor which a devotee will not seek for. Devotee will completely leave it to the will of the Supreme Lord. If he wants us to put us anywhere, or he wants us to bring it back to this material world for some reason, some purpose, the devotee doesn't matter for that. Once Prabhupada, when Prabhupada was in the last day, somebody asked Prabhupada, what is your wish after leaving this body? Prabhupada said, I'm surrendering unto the will of the Lord, but I really want to come back to the subterranean hellish planets to preach Krishna consciousness. These are the pure devotees' wishes. So, to achieve the Krishna prema, once we get that Krishna prema, nothing else will be interesting us, because this is the sublime. And to attain that, the most easily achievable process is Golekar Premadan Krishna Nam. Krishna Nam, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This holy mantra, this Maha mantra is sufficient in Kali Yuga to go back to Godhead, achieve the Krishna prema. Through this, our Chedu Udarpana Marjanam, our conscious will get purified every moment when we chant. This is a constant process, but as Bhagavatam suggests, we should not do Kunjara Sauchavat, means after taking bath in the river, then again we come out and put the mud again. So this should not happen. For this process of achieving this Krishna Parama, the 9th stage Bhakti is recommended. One has to get a bit of faith in the beginning to enter into the realm of Bhakti. That will be given only through our past deeds or punya. Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmana Vaishnave Swalpa Punyam Vadam Rajan Vishwaso Naiva Jayate. Naiva Jayate, that will not take birth. What? The faith, Vishwaso Naiva Jayate. The faith on these 4 things will not happen without Swalpa Punyam. Without the Swalpa Punyam, this birth of the Vishwas, the faith on these 4 will not happen. What are the 4? Mahaprasad, Nama, Mahaprasada, Govinda, the Krishna, Nama, and Brahmana. These 4 things we will not get faith, because the Brahmanas are the highest level of people whom we will give all reverence, and then we will submit to them for our perfection. So these 4 things we will not get faith unless we have Swalpunyam. So when we get that Swalpunyam, we will be having that Adav Shraddha. And the first thing we do is Sadhu Sangha. But then when we get that, immediately when that spark comes to us, and then immediately we take that opportunity to go to Satsang. whether online, offline, or whatever. We go and we make ourselves forcibly into that. In the beginning, that is an austerity. What is austerity? Austerity means inviting some inconvenience to the mind and body for a better future. So rather than watching a cricket match or a movie or going out to the park, beach, or shopping complex, we go to satsang means we are sacrificing something. That is the austerity we do at that time. So sadhu sangha, and when we enter sadhu sangha, some people are chanting, so we have to chant along with them, and then clapping, we have to clap along with them. Then they are reciting some sloka, we have to recite with them. Then we are putting, then everybody is honoring prasadam, we have to honor prasadam along with them. This is bhajana kriya. So when we grow gradually, then the fourth and very important process is anartha nivarti, which will last for a long time according to one's attachment to the material existence. And then when we completely come out of anartha nivarti, the next is Nishta stage, the steady stage. That stage, until this stage, bhakti has not sprout. These are all the basic development of cleaning process of our bhakti. In Bhagavad Gita terms, it is Brahma Bodha stage. Brahma Bodha Prasannatma na sokchadi na kanchadi. At that stage, in Brahma Bodha stage, we don't have any material attachment. We are not developed the bhakti. So then comes Asakti, Ruchi, with the supreme understanding, and from there we develop Bhava Bhakti and finally attain the perfectional stage, that is Prema Bhakti. So if one constantly in trance, there is no possibility of him being attacked even by touched by the modes of material agent. As soon as one is freed from the contamination of the three material modes, he no longer has to take birth in this transmigrate form from one to another in this material world. So that is, once we completely out of this, as we said, from the Nishta stage and above, we can make sure that we have completed our engagements with this material world, and then we can go back home, back to Godhead. So this is what Prabhupada mentions. And then, so what we have to do is we have to perfect our life. Here in the purport, it says, Devagati, sorry, in the translation, Devagati Mata, she completely forgot about her material existence, and then she was not at all in the three modes of material actions, nature. That means she completely, even though she was in a material body, she's completely out of material consciousness. How? We can, Prabhupada gives an analogy of copper wire. Copper wire is a metal. We can hold it, we can bend it, we can do anything, we can bite it, everything. Even though copper wire, when it is remaining as copper wire, when the electricity started passing through it, then we cannot touch that, we cannot bite it, we cannot hold it, nothing we can do, because the material body of the copper wire is transformed into something energetic wire. So similarly, even though one is in a material body, we get a different kind of experience in that state of mind. So that's why Devagati doesn't have any material body anymore. So if you see in Sanatana Dharma, somebody after leaving the body, some bodies are being buried, some bodies are put into fire and burned with wood. So what does it mean? So some bodies are burned, some in particularly the sadhus, the acharyas, when they leave body, they are not put laid and they were allowed to sit, and the body is buried. That means it is a completely transcendental body, and that body need not to be burned. It will be completely this one. So we have to make sure in our daily activities, whatever we do, we have to find a relationship with that work with the Supreme Lord. If we make food, then if it offered to Krishna, then it becomes prasad. If we hear or sing some songs, and that is, if that is the glorification of the Lord, though it is pleasing our ears, and that becomes Sankirtan or whatever. And whatever, in nutshell, whatever actions, karma we do, that if we connect with Krishna, and then it becomes karma yoga. In Bhagavad Gita 14.6, Krishna says, Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatvam Prakasham Anamayam Shuga Sangena Vatanadi Ishana Sangena Chanaga. O sinful one, O mode of goodness, being purer than the others. Here, Krishna is saying the hierarchy. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being the purer than the others, is eliminating, and it is free from all sinful reactions. So among these three, which is eliminating, is the mode of goodness. That is the basic development or base. That is the foundation for one to go beyond. Those situated in that mode becomes conditioned by sense of happiness and knowledge. Srila Prabhupada says in his purport that mode of goodness is better than the other, because in this mode one is able to see all the things in their right perspective, and hence it gives a chance to develop further into devotional service to Godhead. So if one wants to develop this love for Godhead and become eternally blissful, he has to work in order to maintain this mode of goodness and eventually transcend this. So that is the platform from where we have to start our action. So first one has to become into the sattvic mode. One has to become sattvic, and then we can transcend from that mode to the higher Suddha Sattva. That's why Bhagavad Gita 3.44, I think, Krishna is saying, Traigunya Vishayo Veda Nistraigunyo Baba Arjuna Nirdando Nitya Sattvasto Niryoga Kshoyama Atmavan. Saying all Vedas speak about these three modes: Sattva, Guna, Rajas. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamoguna. Traigunya Vishaya Veda. All Vedas talk about them. Nistraigunyo Baba Arjuna. Please you elevate yourself beyond these three modes of material nature, the three guna. This is what Arjuna getting instruction from Lord Krishna. So if one wants to develop this love for Godhead and become eternally blissful, he has to work in order to maintain this mode of material nature and eventually transcend this mode. Mode of passion and ignorance are not conducive qualities for developing devotional service, and hence they should be completely avoided. That will pull down us. So just like in order to become masters of science, one has to at least have a bachelor degree. Like this, one has to go to Suddha Sattva, at least one should be in the Sattva stage. Similarly, in order to develop the transcendental love for Godhead, one has to situate it in the mode of goodness at first. That is prerequisite. It is for this reason, Srila Prabhupada explains that the four regulative principles via, that means no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, or no illicit sex, have to be followed strictly to whomever interested in spiritual progress. So, following this four regulative principle is not to make one as a devotee, but that is to make one's nature conducive to engage in one's devotional service. So that's why Prabhupada says, when say I'm vegetarian, so proudly somebody come and say that, so what, even the goat and elephant is vegetarian. It doesn't make any difference at all. So we are not vegetarians. And somebody said, no, I'm fine. I'm saying the point that you are also vegetarian. We are also vegetarian. No, we are not vegetarians. We are Krishnatarians. We don't eat vegetables. We eat whatever Krishna provides us. Whatever we eat that is being offered to Krishna. We are Krishnatarians. Since these four activities are considered to the four pillars of sinful and life prominently are in the modes of passion and ignorance. Avoiding them will help the cultivating the mode of goodness. So this is what Prabhupada says about that. And then he further continues, Rajas Tamas Chabaya Bhyua Sattvam Bhavati Bharata Rajas Sattvam Tamas Chaiva Tamas Sattvam Rajas. So how these are all in 14.1 10 it says sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent. So that's what we discussed in the beginning, that how these three modes in their mixture, mishram, how permutations, combination brings millions of nature, and based on that our actions goes, and based on that our desire develops, or vice versa, because of desire our actions go in that direction, and because of that we design our next body. Sometimes mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance. Osana of Bharata. Sometimes the mode of passion defeats the goodness and ignorance, and other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always a competition of supremacy between these three modes. In this case, one has to verify, firmly practice the four regulative principles, and at the same time chant the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is to cleanse the dirt from the heart, or in other words, to cleanse the effects of modes of material nature, of passion and ignorance, to remain constantly in the modes of goodness. In the age of Kali Yuga, chant in the Kali Yuga, the chanting of the holy name is recommended as mentioned in the scriptures. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama iva kevalam kalau nastiyeva gadiranyada. This is Brihad Naradi Purana. It says that there is in Kali, there is nothing else. Only if you see carefully how strongly it is emphasized. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama iva kevalam kalau nastiyeva gadiranyada. Eva means certainly, nothing else. Na asti means there is no. So in Kevalam means also it is one. So it is emphasizing only the holy name can make this. So the modes of material goodness is conducive to attain devotional service. Is not the target, since even in the mode of goodness, the living entity is not liberated. We can develop proud and all this by our being in the mode of goodness. So the ultimate aim to transcend all these modes of material nature and be situated in the transcendental confirm, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Gunam etan atiyan trin dega samudvan Janma mrityu jara dukhay vimukta amritam asnute. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes of associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distress, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. So this is what there was a Brahmana who used to do all this Sandhya Nama, always on right Sandhyas 3 times, and he was so proud of about that. I'm a properly practicing Brahmana. I'm doing that, all that. One day, in his tired, in the Sandhya time, he slept, and somebody woke him up. Your Sandhya Nama time, why are you sleeping? Then he looked at that man, a very blackish person. Anyway, this is not the time to talk to him. Thank you. He said, immediately jumped in and he cleansed himself and he did the Sandhya Nama. And then looked at the guy who was standing there. Then he said, who are you? I am Kali personified. Who? Kali personified. Why are you standing here? Why did you awake me? Your action is to make us forget about this sana, this all our rituals. But you are why did you help me to do that? No, no, no. If I am not waking you up in uh, that regret, you will develop humility in you, and then you will seek for atonement, and then slowly you will become free from all this pride. So I don't want to that to happen. You be in your pride so that you will be always in my control. So that's what Kali Purushanapa said. So always in whatever actions, in nutshell, like Devavati Mata, though she's in the material body, forgetfulness of this material existence happens when one is engages in the pure devotional service. That's why Srimad Bhagavatam says, Dharma Swanishridam Pumsam Vishwasena Kadashriyav Na Utpadiyed Yatiratim Shrama Yabagi Kamalam. If we are not developing the love for Krishna, and then all our work becomes very waste labor. The occupational activities of a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of God. And then again it continues, Adabambir Dujashreshta Varnashrama Vibhagishaga Swanishtatasya Dharmasya Samsiddhim Aritoshanam. So it is said in another way that all our action should be for Aritoshanam. O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to the caste divisions, the Varnashrama and orders, life is to please the personality of Godhead. In that state, is not one if one engages in that state, then he is not bound by any rules and regulations of this material world. As we before said, Smartavya sadadam Vishnu Vismartavya na jadujit Sadi Sarve Vidhi Yashyor Sarve Vidhi Nideshyor Yatayor Evakankara. All are subservient to the first law, that is always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. And in Srimad Bhagavatam also 11th canto 5th chapter 41st verse says, Devarshir Budapta Nrinam Pitranam Nakinkaro Nayam Rani Charajan Sarvatmana Yasharanam Saranam Gato Mugundam Parigritya Kartam. So, O king, one who has given up all material duties and has taken the full shelter of the lotus feet of the Mukunda, who offers the shelter to all, is not indebted to the demigods, the great sages, ordinary living beings, relatives, friends, mankind, or even one's forefathers who have passed away. Since all such classes of living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, one who has surrendered to the Lord's service has need not to serve such persons separately. So Krishna, in whatever state, is freed, and he is readily willing to free us from all these bondages. What is that slogan? Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shabdo Nama Chintamani Krishna. Only Nama Chintamani. This Nama, this Chintamani is a wish giving. Just by remembering that Nama, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, and that what it does, Purna Shuddho Nityamukto, it is completely pure and it is completely liberated. Abhinatvam Nama Namino, it will live. But Krishna is always liberated soul, is in the supreme. So when the pastimes of the Damodar Leela, we know that when Damodar in the Leela, he is bound with a mortal. The moment he is bound, and then he remembers who are all bound and whom I can liberate from this stage, and then he remembers about the two wonderful devotees who in the cults of Narad Muni has become Arjuna Yamala trees in the courtyard. Then he lands them with the bond. He's not liberated. Still, he go in between them and liberated them. What is the message for us? Even when we are in the bound state of our material existence, we know that I'm not perfect. When I am giving class, I am not at all realized of what I'm speaking. I know I'm completely bound by this material nature, and all my actions are words are nothing to go with my actions. But still, in that bound state, as Krishna tells us here, still we have to try to preach others and help us others to do that. Similarly, someone helps us to liberate from ourselves. But Krishna is already ever is liberated soul, and then he helps us to come out of this one. And in that state of Lord's mood, he will go to any level to please his devotees. In the same Leela, if you see, when Yashodamaya chased Krishna, he know that I'm not dealing with the Hiranyaksha or Hiranyakashipu. I'm playing with my devotee. So he allowed her to tie. With that love, she's only with the two things, one with our endeavor, and with the love, we can allow Krishna to bind us. Krishna will allow us to bind him within this one. In this Purushottam month, we all sing this Chaurashtakam. If we see the first 6 verses will narrate how great thief he is, and the Vilumangala Thakur is saying in the 7th and 8th verse, any thief should be given punishment, and Vilumangala Swami sarcastically saying, I'm going to give you punishment because for this all this theft. I'm going to imprison you in the black jail, which is my heart. So you come and reside there. You are like imprisoned. You should be there eternally there. So this is a wonderful Chaurashtakam explains. Each verse is so amazing. But devotees only can win Krishna like this. Yashodamaya was doing this one. And Krishna, he created the whole cosmos and he killed the great demons without any effort. And here, a simple devotee of a Vrajavasi, she's binding because she's allowing, because here he is intoxicated with the love of his devotee. Like a bee, which is very strong. This bumblebee, when it is very angry and it is very aggressive, it can go and cut through one tree trunk and come out of this one. We know this one. Even if any animal, if want to bite, it will cut through, the blood will bleed and it will come to the other way. It's such a sharp one. But when it is intoxicated with the honey of a whirl of a lotus, it stays there and it is drink, and it forgets itself. And in the twilight comes, the lotus will close its petals, and without any strength to fly, the honey will go into the lotus. Similarly, Krishna is allowing others. So here, this the first takeaway is here Mother Devahuti is giving clear guidance for us to how one can transcend from this material body and transcend how from these 3 modes of material. Even when we are in this material body, we can transcend from our existence of material nature to transcendental nature by engaging ourselves in the pure devotional service of the Supreme Lord. Virendra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Shila Prabhupada ki Jai. पतित पावन श्री गुरुदेव की जय। Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Any
Hare Krishna.
comments, Prabhuji?
Haribol, Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Beautiful, lovely class. As yeah, devotees. Yesterday's, I remember the last sentence of yesterday's Shampalika Mataji saying, Devati Mataji was expert in understanding instructions given to her. So she was expert. And when you are saying today, Devati Mataji was living in the body, but just by constantly connecting, was out of the three modes of material nature, out of the body. So this takeaway for us is very, very important in this Kali Yuga, when we are so much conscious of our body and our so
Designation.
yes, so of course association alone is going to make us more and more conscious of our dire need to constantly engage in devotional service to serve the Lord and remind us that our constitutional position is Jiva Swarupe Nitya Krishna Dasa. So while we consciously know this, we have to attain his prema. His prema is there, but we have to attain, feel ourselves, and migrate, transcend from this. Harival Prabhuji, you touched so many things in Purana. Also, you have taken today reference and also this Prabhupada's instruction to devotees when they, you know, when they asked him and he said, no, are you in the out of the concept of body? So really, this is I was when you said, I was remembering this sloka only. I love that sloka. Tasmat sarveshu kalyeshu. I feel I'm karmi, and in this life, because of being karmi, tasmat sarveshu kalyeshu mam anusmar yuddhecha.
So Karma Yoga.
Mam evas asamshaya. I felt this is a fantastic sloka. Of course,
Yes.
apart from Yat karoshi yadashnasi yad josi dadasyat. Yat tapasasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. So these two slokas for we karmis, I mean, I'm talking about myself, are extremely important to, transcend this or get go in the direction of getting migrating to or transcending from three modes of material nature. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mother. Hare Krishna, Banbir Mataji. Thank you so much for joining. I did not
Yes,
see.
ma'am. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope you are recovered from your health problem today.
Yes, Mataji. I'm perfectly all right. And
Thank you.
last 3-4 days I'm going. Yeah, this week completely from Monday I started going office.
Jai Jai. Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
for wonderfully explaining. I joined late, but I could catch up the thing that you were speaking, the point that you were mentioning. Wonderful, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji.
I hope we all develop that desire, that same desire and intensity to be in tune with what Prabhupada wants to give us,
Yes.
because we have so much of distraction all the time.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Wonderful. Hare Krishna. Dhanavad.
Amarendra Prabhu says we all complain that we have so much distraction. Actually, there is no distraction, but our attraction towards other things are vulnerable.
Yeah, that's only a distraction. Man. Attraction not on Krishna is a distraction. Distraction for the soul. Soul
Yeah,
is naturally wanting only Krishna. Nitya
yeah,
Siddha Krishna Prema. But other things, when the mind is controlling us, because we are not Krishnadas, we are Mayadas, so that's the whole thing, I guess.
Yes, Mother.
That way we have to improve ourselves. We have to be loyal pet dog of Krishna and Radharani and Krishna and Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya, but it's going everywhere else, but it's not sticking to the process, sticking to Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, sticking to the service of Guru and Gauranga. So that is the problem.
Yes,
Yes, Prabhu.
Mother.
Hare Krishna.
That regret what we have always will help us one day to get it.
The one day is like it should not be after the death. That should be just seconds before the death at least.
That's true, Mataji. But Krishna will help us to, uh, maybe he's allowing us to wander now because he's a loving father. So once he will understand that, okay, your time is over, your wandering is over, come to me. So that time before leaving the body, we have to play like a loving father takes the child to the park and say, I want to run, play individually. So he allows, and then one after some, come, no, not 5 more minutes or 10 more minutes, the child will say. Like that, we are still taking more time. Then he will, one time, then finally will say, that's all, come on, come to me. Then out of love, the child will also come to the father. Similarly, one day will come for us.
Yes, absolutely. And Krishna is arranging and orchestrating everything in the world like
Yeah.
that. People are coming to the realization. Recently in the US, people have recognized that there are other living beings and other planets and all that. And now everybody is turning to Veda base and everybody is searching Prabhupada's books and everybody is like shockingly getting revelations. Oh, the whole universe is teeming with different forms of life.
Yeah,
And
the
not only
scientists
one
said we are
universe.
not alone.
Yeah. They're all one universe. Prabhupada talks about like so many Brahmas and so many universes, and
Yes,
the Bhagavatam describes the people are like really benefiting, some way.
correct.
The things are getting conducive for people to understand.
Right.
Okay, there are lower planets, there are higher planets, there are this and that, and like many people I know, like they have really took this thing interest, because all over the news channel for last 1 or 2 weeks I was following this news. So everybody is saying, oh, in the Hindu text, and all these are actually referring to Prabhupada's books. When they talk about the Hindu texts, it's everywhere Veda based, it's everywhere Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's such a
Right.
nice thing to see.
Yeah.
Everybody talking about Prabhupada.
That's what Prabhupada's vision, Mataji. We have to give this. Some devotees went to book distribution and I said, what you do? No, before they get, I was trying to convince them to give this book. Then he said, you are a fool. You, in 2 minutes and 5 minutes on the road, what are you going to convince them? Not possible. So somehow or other, how hook or nook, you give one book to them, that will explode sometimes.
Yes, Prabhu, yes. And Prabhupada is an expert. Like ever
Yeah,
since he wrote the first very book, The Easy Journey to Other Planets, like he was knowing that humanity will not find the answers anywhere. It is there. And let me, from the very beginning, the first book that he wrote, dedicating to the scientists of this world, like Prabhupada was such a visionary, like, you can appreciate that.
he wrote that just after the Neil Armstrong put his foot on the moon, right?
No, even before that. Even
Even
before
before
that.
that? Okay.
Yeah, even before that. He actually wrote before going to America, but he did not publish it.
Okay.
When the scientists were awarded that Nobel Prize about the antimatter and all that, then at that very point he started writing all these things. They had
Okay.
just begun sending the satellites into the space and all. Prabhupada was that visionary. Before anybody landed, he just wrote that.
Okay.
It was very before that, like almost 7-8 years before he landed America.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, Vaishnaran Prabhu, you have any?
Nothing, bro. Nothing. We
Thank
have
you.
to be in constant connection with Krishna. That's what you have told. Yes.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Prabhu. Okay. So tomorrow, Ajit Prabhu. Okay, I will send the words to you. Okay. Thank you so much. Vansha Kalpataru Upescha Kripa Sindhu Devi Chapa.
Patita Naam Pavani Vaishnavi Gunamama.
Anandapudi Vaishnavandaki, Jai Jagat Krishna Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai, Jai, Jai.
Gauranga Nityananda.
Nityananda.
We missed that Sugar Krishna's Prabhu today. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, your Gaurnita looking like grooms, bridegrooms looking like that.
Yeah. Mataji, what happened? This turban we never use. This one Mataji went to India and she brought it and said, and I said, this is not look like Gaurnita. It's they look like Vittal. And she was so sad. And I said, okay, let us put
No, they look nice. They look as if they are ready for marriage.
that.
They look very nice, beautiful, Prabhu. They look very beautiful.
Yes.
Uh,
If you want, I will go closer and give you one second.
yes, please, Prabhu.
Nice, nice.
Rainbow. Wow. Nice. Okay. Blue color. Nice.
Yeah.
Magenta. Magenta pink. Wow. Oh, wow. Nice. Wonderful. Jai Jagannath. Wow. Nice.
Here is the hero.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Haribo. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Wonderful darshan. Very unique dressing. Haribo.
So, Ekadasi day or Dwadasi day, I do with one or two devotees every 15 days once.
Jai Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Okay.